It's like a liquid cinnamon bear. I would drink that again. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. Today we'll be discussing all the books I want to read in December. I'm coming out of a little bit of a reading slump. I didn't read a whole ton in the month of November, but the books I did read I really enjoyed. So we're hoping to like pull on that momentum and keep going. So let's start with a couple classics. Number one is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I am reading this for two reasons. One, because it is almost Christmas time. I'm filming this on December 1st, appropriately enough, and Christmas Carol is actually probably only 50 or 60 pages. It's technically a novella, and I've read this once before. I remember really liking it. I also love The Muppets Christmas Carol, and I am, let's see, maybe 15 pages in right now, and I'm really loving it. So we'll just continue on with that. So that's one of the classics I'm planning on reading this month. And the second reason I want to read this is because it's one of the books that is being read for, what's it called? Totally forgetting all the names of all the things. Dickens versus Tolstoy with Emmy and Carolyn Marie Reeds. So they're reading A Christmas Carol for the month of December. That's the book for the Dickens versus Tolstoy debate. So I want to be a part of that. And that leads me to the second book I would love to knock out this month. And I don't think I'll finish this book. That is Nope. I was going to say Baranaby Rudge. Danaby? I'm going off memory here, and memory is not different well. Just look it up. Baranaby Rudge by Charles Dickens. This is his fourth novel. It is similar to A Tale of Two Cities in the sense that it is written on historical events. It's written on the riots in the 80s, and we're not talking about the 1980s riots or even the 1880s riots. We're talking about the 1780s riots, which I know nothing about in England, so hopefully this will be really interesting. I have not thus far enjoyed much of Charles Dickens. I'm sorry, Dickens. I don't know that you're rolling over in your grave about my opinion, but if you are, I apologize. I don't know if that's because it's taken me a long time to get into the writing style of Dickens. I just have not had a whole lot of patience. I gave Oliver Twist 2.5 stars, Nicholas Nickleby 3 stars. I had to rate A Christmas Carol, I'd give it 5 stars. There are times when I've really enjoyed Charles Dickens. The last two novels have not been it. But that may have more to do with me than with Charles Dickens. Anyway, so I am going somewhere really important with this point. Let me think about it for a second. Oh, so Baranaby Rudge is the book for January or February for the Dickens versus Tolstoy debates. I'm more interested in reading the Charles Dickens side of things, and it also takes me longer to get through classics novels. So I'll probably mostly be working on the Charles Dickens novels. I have read Anna Karenina and War and Peace, and I will come back to Tolstoy's other novels at a different point. Anyway, so I'm trying to get ahead of the game. So after I finish A Christmas Carol, I'm going to try Baranaby Rudge. Barnaby? Is that the right name? Oh my gosh, I forgot it again. Baranaby Rudge. We're going with that. That's what we're going with. That's the name. I don't care if that's not the name. It's the name now. The arrogance. I cannot find a physical copy of this book. I don't think it's one of his more well-known or more well-liked. That's really ambitious of me to assume. I don't think it's one of his more well-known novels. We'll go with that. So I can't find a copy of it at any thrift stores. So it's probably only going to be listening to it. It's a 30-hour audiobook. And I really tried to do that with Nicholas Nickleby. Okay, no. I tried for like 3 days to listen to an hour of Nicholas Nickleby every day, and that went poorly. That went so poorly. So we'll see how that goes. But I would love to be able to have read this and be able to have my thoughts solidified for the debate. And I would like to have done it in advance rather than finishing it the day of the debate. Pause for a sip of tea. Now it's cold cinnamon bears. I don't think I like that as much. Okay, so in terms of classics, that's probably how I'm gonna end my year. I know I had a very grand, ambitious list of classics that got totally derailed this year. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the one book I remember really wanting to read that I listed off in my classics TBR for 2021, and I still have not gotten around to it, and I still don't love that fact. But I have read a lot of classics this year. Most of them just have not been the ones that I started out with, which is fine because I'm a moon reader. That makes sense. La 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 la. Moving on. All right, the next book I want to read is called The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. Me and my friend are going to be reading this for the month of December if it comes in on hold at the library. This novel sounds super interesting to me. It is about a girl who is single and her friend signs her up for a dating agency, and the agency claims that they can find her love before the holidays, 23 days away. So she's going to go on 12 dates with 12 different people before the start of the holidays. And I am really in the mood for romance right now. That's unusual for me. I don't normally crave romance in books. But Christmas romance, that sounds like a swing in time right now. So I'm really excited for that. I have it on hold as the audiobook and then also as an ebook, because I can't find a physical copy at the thrift store that I normally shop at, the secondhand bookshop that I normally shop at. This is a problem I have with when I want to read more modern books. I have to use the library. In the library, you have to have patience. And I do not have the patience, but I have to. So that's how this is going. There are lots of other romance and Christmas books that I would love to tackle right now, but none of them are available because I didn't think this through. I decided to read Christmas romances in December when everyone else also wants to read Christmas romances. So there's nothing available, which is my own sad fault. So in lieu of that, I'm going to be reading a Nicholas Sparks book, The Notebook, to help compensate for this for several reasons. One, because romance up my alley right now. Number two, this is the book club pick for January, and I know nothing about this book. I know it's been made a movie. I know lots of people really like it. I know Nicholas Sparks is often accused of white people almost kissing on his books. This book is no different. I have liked just about every Nicholas Sparks book that I have read, with the exception of one of them about a woman who used to date this guy, then got married, then meets up with the guy she used to date, and they have an affair, and then she's like, no, I don't want to have an affair, and then he dies. I wasn't a fan of that because I thought the plot was stupid. I don't even remember what the name of that one was, but after reading that one, I haven't picked up a Nicholas Sparks book since, which is a shame because I loved The Last Song and Safe Haven? Oh geez, what's the name? Yes, Safe Haven, and then See Me, like the one that he wrote that's a thriller novel romance. Also, side note, thriller romances, great, I love those. Anyway, so The Notebook, I have no idea what this is about, but I'm planning to read it and watch the movie and have fun discussing it in the book club. So hopefully this helps fulfill my need for romance. Okay, the next book that I would love to get to in this month is The Amber Spyglass by Phillip Holman. I finished The Subtle Knife 3 days ago. I'm currently reading the Golden Compass series with my brother. He's finished it. This is on me just waiting. My husband's finished it. We were reading it together so we discuss it. I'm super slow to this game. I was reading lots of other things. Tell me, and they're waiting for me. They've already discussed it. I want to be involved in the discussions. Basically, is how this is going. I would say the plot is actually very interesting for this. This is a children's novel technically, but I know it's often in the teen section, or at least the Amber Spyglass. The third one is often in the teen section, and it's also won multiple awards, not just in the UK but also worldwide. And I'm planning on doing a more detailed review of the Golden Compass with more spoilery thoughts. Many people have read the series and absolutely loved it. I think the writing is so-so. I think the plot is really interesting. There's been a lot of plot turns that I haven't seen coming and haven't expected, and I've really loved that. I I think it's a really good children's novel. I wish I had read this as a kid. I think it would have that would have hit my target demographic. I would have enjoyed being the target demographic, let's put it that way. It definitely takes me a hot 2 or 3 chapters to get into the novel every time, because I started The Golden Compass, it was really slow, and then I was like, oh no, this is really interesting, and do the exact same thing with The Subtle Knife. I would like to avoid that with the Amber Spyglass and just keep the momentum going. I have the audiobook currently checked out, so hopefully we'll just move right along. I'm not listening to a ton of audiobooks right now still, so we'll see where we go with that. But I have a physical copy, so I can pick it up and read it at any point. However, currently right now it's being trumped by, oh gosh dang it, The Royal Assassin, the second book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I read the first book many eons ago. It was this summer, the last summer of this year. 5 months ago, I read the first book, and I actually really enjoyed the first book. I don't mind Robin Hobb's writing. I don't mind the slowness of it. It's very atmospheric. It's very cozy. It's just been a long time coming to pick up the second book because I haven't been in a really big fantasy mood, really. And I randomly the other day found that the audiobook was available. I didn't have to put it on hold or anything, so I checked it out, and I am currently on chapter 1. But there's a long prologue, so technically in terms of the audio I'm 40 minutes in. It was a long prologue. I have no idea where this book is gonna go. I know Becca in the books, she did a book club where they just read Robin Hobb, not Hobbes, that's Calvin Hobbes, Robin Hobb, for a year. And so I read the first book and watched the live show, but it wasn't live, obviously. I think I'm like 2 years late for that. So I would love to read this book and then watch that, because I love discussions and commentary on books, obviously. It's feeling very cozy. I'm enjoying the read so far. So that's the book that I'm probably physically reading the most right now, aside from The Christmas Carol, and depending on what mood I'm in, I go back and forth between those two. I also don't know if I want to fully commit to reading this book at this point right now. I am really enjoying it, but also it's a long book, and I don't know if I'd rather read that or the Amber Spyglass, or also possibly I want to pick up the Hunger Games again. So that leads us into the next book, which is Catching Fire. I reread the first book of the Hunger Games a while ago, and I really want to read it again because I loved the Hunger Games the first time through, and I've yet to reread the series again, and I want to watch the movies again. It's not a romance, so I mean it kind of is, but that's more in the third book, I feel like. But maybe I'm forgetting things. Anyway, I want to read Catching Fire again. I watched a couple commentaries on the movies that just made me fall in love with this world all over again and just want to be immersed in it. So technically I have 3 books checked out on audio from the library. Of Catching Fire, I have The Royal Assassin, and The Amber Spyglass. And I probably only have enough time to listen to one of those at a time. So we'll see how that goes. This is probably super cold now, and that's my own fault. Oh yeah, it definitely gets worse as it gets colder. Let's just finish it up. Yeah, 10 out of 10 would not drink cold again. That's definitely a tea that's meant to be drunked. It's definitely a tea that needs to be drunk to warm. And then just in terms of romance, I want a couple romances that don't involve hefty plot. I just want to read a couple romances that I can fly through, and I don't really know where to turn for that. I have not read a lot. I have not read anything by Nora Roberts, so I was thinking of maybe picking up 1 or 2 things by her. Johanna Lindsey, I've enjoyed 1 or 2 of her novels. So maybe something by her, if there happens to be an audiobook available. I have a lot of thrillers that I haven't read, but I don't have a ton of romances that that I haven't read, because I don't generally tend to just pick up romance and just read that. I like my romances generally infused greatly with fantasy, with the romance as a side plot. Like, I like romances generally as a side plot. Dang, what's that one book called? The Unhoneymooners by Lauren something. Let's look it up. Oh, Christina Lauren. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I loved that book, so I should definitely check out more of her stuff. The thing is, I don't want it to be an audiobook. I want to physically read some books. So I think that might mean I go to the thrift store and I look for stuff that seems interesting to me. I read The Mail Order Brides. It was like a compilation of 4 books, and they were just short novellas about mail order brides. And they were cheesy, they were dumb, and I loved it. This isn't like, and this is not normally me, but I want that again. I didn't keep that book because I read it and I know what happens, so I gave it away. But I think I need the same thing. I'm thinking about picking up Strange the Dreamer. Can I point? Right there. Strange the Dreamer again, because I loved that romance. But I know where it goes. The part of me is like, do I want to pick it up again? So maybe we'll pick that one up. Maybe we'll try a couple Nora Roberts or DJ Robb. I think that's her pen name. Her alternate pen name for thriller novels that are also romances. So I would love to pick up a couple of those, see if those sound interesting to me. I don't know. I'm in the mood to read romances, and I should maybe lean more into that. So maybe I should not read the Amber Spyglass right now, or Robin Hobb, and I should just go full-blown romances out my ears until I can't take it anymore. And maybe that means I only need to read one romance, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, this is why I don't like this genre. So maybe I should start with the Nicholas Sparks book. There's lots of options, lots of choices that we could go with right now. What else? I See Me by Nicholas Sparks. I've read that one before. It's a thriller. I really enjoyed that. I read that 3 or 4 years ago, so I wouldn't mind picking that up again. But again, I've read it, and I kind of want something that I haven't read before. Again, saying the same thing over and over again. I think the only other thing that I would add to this ridiculous list is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. My friend gave me this book on Audible as a birthday present, and it is fantabulous. I've already read it, and I've started re-listening to it, and some of my friends are reading it, and I want to read it again with them, because I have so much available time for audiobooks. But I would love to work my way through that. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Throne of Glass. My friend gave me, another friend, my sister-in-law, actually gave me a copy of Throne of Glass, and I know that's a romance, so maybe I could use that for the romance, because I think it's romance that takes place in fantasy, but it's mostly focused on the romance, so maybe I'll try that. Technically, I think I have the whole series now on audiobook, but again, audiobook, and I want to physically read it. So many hard decisions. It's so hard. Oh dear. Okay, so what this is going to turn into is, what can I find? What romances can I find? And bonus points if they happen to be Christmas romances. That's all I have. I'm really interested to see how this goes. I will talk with you all in the comments down below and in another video. And that's all I have. Bye!